Sometimes when I look back at everything that I held out hope for, I genuinely don't know whether to cry or file a class action lawsuit against the cult of optimism. Honestly, I'd drag a motivational poster into court if I thought it could reimburse me for the years that I wasted. You told me to hang in there. Now look at me. Here I am. I'm hanging. I spent years thinking that I was holding on to hope, but the truth is, hope was holding on to me, pinning me down with those stupid little promises like any day now, just wait, you'll see, something's coming. Hope had me in a chokehold, whispering, but what if next Thursday changes everything? Like some abusive life coach with a criminal record. And let's be real, nothing ever happens on a Thursday. If the calendar had an emotional landfill, it would be Thursday. Too late to start over, too early to give up. Hi, I'm Sheila. I'm not a coach or a guru. I'm just a woman of a certain vintage with a PhD in what not to do. I have lived it, I have learned it, and now I'm laughing about it with you. So you might as well stick around and laugh with me. I mean, you're here and all. I used to treat hope like it was customer service. I kept checking the status of my miracle, right? Like, hi, I'm just following up on my transformation. Yeah, any updates on my new life? Yeah, I set that intention a while ago. Do you need anything else from me or should I just keep visualizing? Meanwhile, nothing was changing. I'm not anti-hope. I'm just done with hope for hope's sake. The kind where you say you want something, but you do absolutely nothing to meet it halfway. Like you hope that you lose weight. But honestly, are you actually eating right and taking care of yourself? You hope that you win the lottery someday, but have you actually gone out and bought a lottery ticket? That's not hope. That's performative superstition. Hope without action is useless. That's the kind of hope that tells you to wait quietly and call it bravery, to suffer politely and call it faith, to do nothing and call it strength. I kept calling it hope, but it was the reason I stayed years longer than I should have in jobs, relationships, and even inside my own head. Honestly, I think that performative hope probably contributed to some of my worst mental health breakdowns. It doesn't tell you to fight, it tells you to give it time. Now, I'm not promoting despair, okay? And this definitely is not a conversation about religious faith. Nobody tells you how to tell the difference between the kind of hope that holds you up and the kind of hope that holds you hostage. But I will. One of them gives you strength and the other one gives you Stockholm syndrome. People treat hope like it's a virtue, like if you let it go, you'll immediately become a chain-smoking nihilist whose emotional support animal is a wasp trapped in a red Solo cup. But no one talks about how the wrong kind of hope can keep you hostage. Did you even know that there was a wrong kind? Performative hope keeps you trapped, and it hurts you while you wait. This isn't a theory. This is basically like my 20s, 30s, and most of my 40s. In my career, I would keep hoping that my job would eventually see my worth. Like if I just held on a little longer, someone would suddenly say, wait, isn't Sheila the one holding this frickin' place together? Ha, we see you, girl. Here's what you deserve. Like some kind of corporate Santa with his naughty and nice spreadsheet and zero follow through. I never said what I actually wanted, right? I wanted someone to rescue me so I wouldn't have to confront anyone. That wasn't strategy. That was me calling fear faith. With my mental health, I kept hoping that I would wake up reprogrammed, like depression would just uninstall itself overnight. You know, I'd wake up and there'd be like a little Post-it on the lampshade there that says, hey girl, I ran a quick update while you were sleeping. You're all healed now. Go be dazzling. I wanted the relief without the work. I wanted peace without medication, progress without therapy, comfort without honesty. I kept hoping that I'd feel better without actually doing anything to get better. That wasn't recovery. That was me hiding behind hope, waiting to be rescued by a version of myself that never existed. Can you see how performative hope can hold you hostage? Am I making sense? It doesn't move the needle. It waits. It keeps the needle on maybe until you die of old age stuck in the same spot with a keep hope alive sticker on your forehead. That's not hope, honey. It's fantasy. The worst part is I defended all of it. I called it faith. I called it timing. It was none of those. And that's where this got dangerous. I used to think I was hopeful, but I think I was just high on maybes. Hope didn't lift me. It microdosed me, just enough to stay delusional enough not to get out. Maybe the promotion will come. Maybe they'll apologize. Maybe I won't have to actually do anything. Maybe the universe just ran out to get milk and cigarettes and is definitely coming right back. Nobody ever told me that hope could be dangerous. No one ever said that there's a point where hope stops helping. I didn't realize I was hoping wrong. And I know that that sounds ridiculous to say out loud, but it's true. I feel like an idiot admitting it. But I know I'm not the only one who thought hope was a strategy. I never questioned hope. I didn't analyze it. Why would I? Who the heck questions hope? I just did what everyone says you're supposed to do. Keep the faith. Never lose hope. Don't give up. Keep hope alive. Just put it out to the universe and things will all work out. So I did. I kept hope alive like I was on a salary with benefits and had a manager named Sheila who told me I was doing a good job. I genuinely believed that hoping counted as effort. I thought if I kept believing things would change, that somehow meant I was doing something about it. I wanted things to get better without me having to choose, risk, ask, or act. I hoped people would change without me ever setting a boundary. I hoped my life would feel different just because I was sick of it. I hoped a better opportunity would find me while I stayed miserable where I was. I hope I'm happier next year, but I don't change a single thing that makes me miserable now. I hope the universe sends me a sign, but I ignore the 10 times that it already did. I never learned that there's a difference between hoping and hiding. One moves you, and the other one is just a performance. I didn't know my hope was performative and that I was using hope as a placeholder for action. Hope isn't movement. Hope without action is just emotional loitering. It feels responsible, like you're staying open to possibilities, but really you're just standing still and calling it faith. Hope isn't always brave. Sometimes it's just a costume we wear to avoid deciding. Because if you stop hoping, now you have to choose. And choosing means that you can fail. I wasn't holding hope. Hope was holding me. And it had no plan. It most certainly did not. And that kind of hope doesn't free you. It convinces you that waiting is progress. What's something that you keep hoping will fix itself, but if you're honest, you're not doing anything to make it happen? Be truthful. There's no judging here. I'll meet you in the comments. How did so many of us end up here? I feel like I was raised on vague optimism with no instructions, that if you just keep believing, one day it will all pay off. Never give up. Stay positive. You just never know. Like that's a strategy or something. Ma'am, I've been emotionally parked with the hazards on since 2006. So do I just rot here or is there a help desk of some sort? Nobody ever followed it with, and here's what to do when nothing changes, right? It was just all vibes and no strategy. Nobody told us that hope can backfire, that you can just sit there staying positive and actually be getting worse. We were trained to believe that letting go is failure, that walking away means that you gave up. So instead of making decisions, we stayed loyal to possibilities. We kept the door cracked for people who never planned to return. We kept our jobs on life support and blamed ourselves for not thriving. We kept rewriting invisible success stories in our heads, waiting for the scene where everything finally clicks. Performative hope has entire industries that run on it. Politics runs on it. Motivational culture runs on it. They don't want you making decisions. They want you manifesting patience, because a person who hopes is a person who won't move. We were taught to stay open, to endure, to wait for signs, to keep imagining that any day now the story would make sense. And that's the real addiction. Still hoping that someone, something, someday will tap you on the shoulder and say, you were right to wait. And to be clear, I'm not talking about real hope, right? The kind grounded in reality where someone knows the odds, knows it'll be hard, and still takes action anyway. That kind of hope is a survival skill. I still have that. But here's the thing that no one puts on those little cursive wall quotes, right? Hope without action keeps you busy while your life shrivels around you. It's like standing at a baggage claim waiting for the luggage from a flight that you never even took. I still hope for things. I hope people start treating each other better. I hope Posey lives to be 20. I hope my financial future stabilizes. I hope the love in my marriage continues to grow as we both get older, weirder, and more ourselves. I hope for a million small joys that I haven't even met yet. But I don't do hope by itself anymore. I am actively working on making each of those things happen. Hope without action is addicting. It'll rot your sense of reality and it'll make you think that wishing counts for something. It doesn't. Hope is not a plan. It can't keep you company and it can't carry you. And if you're not careful, it's going to let you sit in the same spot for years thinking that you're holding on when really you're just not moving. Nothing changes just because you want it to. Now, if any of this sounds uncomfortably familiar, if you've been living on maybe someday, I'm not here to shame you. I'm here because I lived there. I paid rent there. I decorated there. So no, I haven't given up on hope. I've just stopped using it as a shelter. I don't need hope to promise me a miracle. I need it to tell me the truth. And that's it. Keep your hope if you want. Just don't let it keep you. I'm not saying to stop hoping. I'm saying to hope and do something about it. You can keep your hope. Just make it clock in like the rest of us have to. Once you stop hiding behind hope, you're going to realize something even worse, that you've been performing for love, for safety, for proof that you deserve to be here. And that next part, well, that's the part that nobody wants to talk about. But we're gonna, right here.